All right, hello everybody, this is Robbie, and I wanted to come to you today with a different video for what I typically film. I have been to several conventions over the summer, and I work for Schiller Learning, and I man their booth at these various conventions, and so there's usually somebody with me, and so when we get a chance, or maybe on our lunch break or whatever, we like to take the opportunity to sort of, browse the convention hall and see what all is available. And so this video is titled Things I Saw at Convention That I Didn't Buy, or Cool Things I Saw at Convention and Didn't Buy. Because truth is, we can't buy everything that looks really cool, right? So I just wanted to kind of bring attention to some of these smaller vendors. Schiller Learning is a small vendor compared to other, math vendors like, Math UC and teaching textbooks and some of those. So, I can appreciate the value in being bringing awareness to smaller vendors. And so this is a compilation of things that I picked up from various conventions, I think 3 or 4 of them. Some of them are secular, some of them are Christian, or faith neutral, maybe, whatever. Faith neutral, I think, is a better term. So I'll be sure to disclose that as I go through these things. So first one I'm going to talk about here is called Brinkman Adventures, and I didn't really get a chance to, I was kind of on my way someplace else, and they said, here, you want a free CD? I'm like, sure. So I left with it, and then I was able to listen to it when I got home. So if you're familiar with Adventures in Odyssey, it's an audio CD series. So these stories are all audio, they have sound effects, they have music, of course, actors that are portraying the characters. These things are so much fun to have in the car when you're taking road trips, small or big ones. This is also a Christian adventure series, and it focuses mainly on missionary work. So let me read the back to you. It has 3 episodes on this, but you can actually go to their website. Do not type www though, it will not take you there. Just type brinkmanadventures.com. I don't know why www tells it, you just get a warning that it's not secure. So if you go to brinkmanadventures.com, it will work. Google it, that'll work too. Anyway, this CD contains 3 full episodes, but you can get samples of various episodes from all the different seasons that they have on their website. And it says here that this incredible audio drama series uses the fictional Brinkman family to tell true stories of Christian workers serving all over the world. Exciting episodes based on real events show God at work through his people as they share a life-changing gospel. With a full cast of characters, original music, and heart-stopping sound effects. Brinkman Adventures not only entertains, it inspires young and old to follow Jesus with abandon. This one, it has a little bit of apologetics in there too, I'll tell you, because I know this one episode I listened to was more of an apologetics theme than a missionary theme, but that's really the main focus of this, and is the missionary work. And then it also has a curriculum that goes with it, again, that focuses on missionary work. And the age range for that is, and I've got my computer here in case I need to refer to something. Okay, so the curriculum is ages 8 through 12. And I would think that the stories could be more than appropriate for a younger audience, but it just depends on the attention span of your child. But the curriculum is recommended for ages 8 through 12. Okay, so that's Brinkman Adventures. Okay, this was pretty cool. This is the Color-Coded Chef, and this little family developed this curriculum for special needs kids. And what they've done is they've created an entire curriculum to teach how to cook. But all the items are color-coded, so they don't have to know and understand all the terminology and the math in order to follow the recipes and cook. There's this little pamphlet has the story about their son. Looks like there was a cleft palate, and I won't read this because you can go to their website and read more about it, but the idea behind the kit was just wanting to teach life skills to their son. And so everything is color-coded. All of the recipes are color-coded. It gives you the all of the tools that the student will need in order to be able to cook and follow these recipes. And it just I just thought it was just so cool for kids that need that little help. A little bit of help, or maybe you have a young student that really wants to learn how to cook, but they don't understand some of these terminology, some of the terminology and some of the math and all of that goes with cooking. So this would be a great tool for those kids too. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up. That was another cool one, very small company. The colorcodedchef.com is their website. Okay, now I wanted to bring this up because this is not a new concept. You know, a lot of people have heard of the alternative to medical insurance called healthcare sharing, but this guy's booth was right next to ours, and so when it was, you know, slower, we would get to talking, and he gave me a perspective on this I truly had never really considered. So I won't go into too much detail. There's several of them. I can't tell you, you know, whether or not this one's better than some of the others or not, but into talking with him, hi cat, come here baby, ooh, let's get down. And talking with this gentleman, he was talking to me about how he views this more like a seed planting ministry and a supporting of a ministry and supporting the body of Christ more so than an alternative to health insurance. So the principle of how this works is that there's a certain dollar amount, which you might compare to a deductible, but it's a certain dollar amount that every member agrees to bear as a burden per year, maybe $300, $500. I can't remember what it is, honestly. So let's say it's $500. So the first $500 in your health care, you bear that burden yourself. Anything above and beyond that, the members of the organization will then bear that burden for you. So you submit the bills, and then individuals, instead of writing a check to a company who then pays you, they write the check directly to you. I really hope I'm not misrepresenting any of this info. This is my understanding of it. If I'm wrong, please, you feel free to correct me in the comment section, but I believe that's how it works. So you know where your money's going. You know what you're supporting and who you're supporting, and they give you a little bit of, you know, information about, you know, what the needs are, and you then pray for these people too. And so in the same instance, you know, they help bear your burdens, you help bear their burdens. It's a method for the body of Christ to help bear one another's burdens, okay? So, you know, people look at this as an alternative to health insurance. Maybe they're self-employed and they can't get, you know, or can't afford a personal health insurance policy, and they go with something like this. But I just love the perspective of this being, instead of putting your health, okay, how do I want to word this? Instead of putting your faith and trust for your medical bills in the hands of the world system of health insurance, you're putting your health, well-being, your medical bills, that part of your life in the hands of God. I just thought that was a phenomenal way to look at this, and it's really made me think more critically about this concept, and so I just wanted to share that. Okay. Yeah, in case you didn't see, Good Samaritan? No, Samaritan Ministries. And is it SamaritanMinistries.org? Okay, is their website. Sorry. All right. Okay, this Creation Ministries International, these guys, I saw them at 2 different conventions that I can remember right off. They had a huge booth, and everything was cash and carry. It was amazing. These guys specialize in apologetics, and so they had so many beautiful, amazing materials. And I did purchase a few things. I mean, if you want to see what I purchased and have me do a walkthrough of those things, I'm more than happy to do it. It's kind of random, I'll just be honest. But I'm more than happy to do that. Just let me know in the comment section. But, Masterbooks is kind of known for their apologetics too. But in terms of resource material, like just plain resource material, these guys had so much, like so much. You could spend hours just browsing the booth, much less their website. So I would definitely recommend you check these guys out if you're interested in materials on apologetics, creationism, creationism versus evolution. Here, I'll just read the back of the card because they go into more detail here. Okay, so this is what they have materials for. Does God exist? Doesn't evolution do away with God? If God is good, why do bad things happen? How do dinosaurs fit in with the Bible? What about carbon dating? Noah's Ark, a global flood? ? What about UFOs and aliens? Why did Jesus die? So it looks like it's creation.com/BQ. I don't know if that's... I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm pretty tech savvy. I don't know what that means unless it has something to do with this QR code, I think they call these. Whatever. I don't know. But let me see what the front says. It's creation.com. Okay. So there's their website, creation.com. Check these guys out. All right. Masterbooks. Masterbooks is not new. I imagine if you are a Christian homeschool, you've probably heard of Masterbooks. But I'm seeing these guys come to the forefront, and I've seen these guys in the last 6 months to a year come to the forefront in a way that I've never seen before. I've always known that these guys existed, but now I'm hearing about them over and over again. And I think part of the reason may be that they're coming out with actual curriculum, and I mean. It's my understanding some of the curriculum's been out for a while and it's been revamped. I think some of it is new. I think language arts is new and they're coming out with, I don't know. I'm really afraid to keep going because I'm afraid I'm going to just stick my foot in my mouth because it's an impression. I'm getting the impression that Masterbooks curriculum, either they're introducing a lot of new stuff right now or they're just now coming out with actual curriculum. But please, somebody else could probably educate me way more on this. But what I'm finding out about Masterbooks is not just another Christian curriculum. It is heavily based in apologetics. So they incorporate Christianity and apologetics into everything, even the math curriculum, even curriculum, that you wouldn't normally think would, pertain or really have any practical application with, those topics, but they incorporate it into everything. Their objective is to help you establish the Christian worldview into your kids, and so that they know what they believe and why they believe it. That's really what apologetics is all about. What do you believe and why do you believe that? It's not enough to just believe something because you're taught it. You need to know why. Why do you believe what you believe? And everybody has to get to a point where they make a decision. I don't care whether you are secular or Christian. You go to school and you're being spoon-fed a philosophy, a theology. You're being, spoon-fed theories on things that aren't necessarily proven. They may be widely accepted, but they're not proven. And Christianity is the same way. It doesn't really matter what your faith is. There are things that you're going to be taught in your faith that may not necessarily be proven. You have to know what you believe, and you have to know why you believe it. And you have to have the critical thinking skills to be able to make those determinations, because I guarantee you every single one of our kids is going to be confronted with people who don't agree with them, and they're going to be expected to defend their faith. And if they can't defend their faith, then in many cases they will wander away from it. So if you want curriculum that does that, I would definitely look at Masterbooks. Kitchen-based food science. This I thought was really cool. This guy, you could tell, he was just so excited about his stuff. He worked in the food industry for years and years and years as a lab, in the labs for all these different food companies, helping develop all of these foods that we have come to know and enjoy on a regular basis, and I can't even remember them all. He was rattling them off so fast. He helped develop a bunch of different foods like cereals and snack bars and all this kind of stuff. So he knows a lot about food science, and so he developed this curriculum so that kids can learn science through food. So he also has one that's, he said, was almost complete. That was a Lego based science. Okay, so why do egg whites turn white? Steak turns gray as it's grilled. What's going on there? How did shortening get its name? Broccoli changes color and texture while it's cooked. Explain, please. I can have a well-paying career in food science? Question mark. So, this just looked really interesting. If you have a foodie, a kid who's real interested in cooking, and you want to turn it into, more of a science-based course, then definitely check this guy out. And the Lego thing, I can't remember all the specifics he said on that, but it's in development. He said it was going to be out really soon. So this was a month or so ago. If you go to the website, beakersandbricks.com, you could probably find out more about that. Anyway, there's that. Okay, so BioBox Labs. So this is a subscription box science program that's strictly biology, which I've never seen that before. I think that's really cool. So bioboxlabs.com. The first box is a supply box, so you get a small microscope and some of the other tools, slides and petri dishes and that kind of stuff. If you already have that, she said you can sign up as a renewal, and then you won't get that initial box of those supplies. And then every month you get a new box with experiments and teaching, and it's really meaty. Like I was looking at some of the material. It's good. It's really good. It's engaging. It's good. And it's also very meaty. She said you could actually create a curriculum around just the subscription. And it's geared for, what did she say? I want to say this isn't for like little kids. This is for probably middle school-ish ones. It's not high school. I would say middle school, maybe 5th through 8th. Go check out their website. I'm sure it goes into more detail. Does it say? It doesn't say, but I remember her saying it was for the older kids sect, which, some of these subscription boxes are geared for the younger ones, and so it's nice to see that age, being covered here with something, meaty and yet fun too. So some of the themes are the microscopic world, plants have hormones too, the eye, our superhero. There's a dissection kit in that one, and I saw it. I think it was a sheep eye. You get to dissect. So there will be dissection kits in there. What is DNA? Germs, and many more. I know there's an owl pellet set in there too, in one of them, where you get to, pull out or whatever, explore the owl pellet, pull out the little bones and everything and all that stuff. So, anyway, bioboxlabs.com. Okay, this is really cool. If you have a physics kid, something that loves motion and sound and anything related to physics, this is an elementary level set. There's actually, looks like middle school to early high school level too. So we've got the elementary, K through 3, a standard, which is 4 through 6, and advanced 7th through 10th. And I can't read all this, but it was really fun. They're saying it's self-directed, it's thorough, there's a high retention level, it's good for co-ops. There's a text-to-speech feature. That's nice if you have students that are auditory learners and they need to hear the text read to them. That's a fantastic option. There's some reviews here from different testimonial type deals from people who've used it. This one's by an engineer that was very impressed with the depths of the teaching material. Logbook, teacher's manual, and all the project materials. Okay, this is the elementary, so they're going to do a derby car, a magnetic sailboat, a balance scale, and a top. This is giving you some examples of the lessons. Then this one has the circuit, a motor, solar fan, a guitar, a balance scale, a racer, and a rocket. And then the 7th through 10th has a glider, steamboat, mini house, racer, rocket, solar fan, guitar, balance scale, motor, a circuit. And there we go. These are the topics covered in the elementary, the standard, and the advanced. And there's a Kathy Duffy review. All of this makes the standard or advanced physical science kit an excellent source for those looking for a hands-on physical science course. So if you have a student that wants some physical science but really needs some hands-on or prefer hands-on, I would check these guys out for sure. Godstruck. These guys, okay, when my oldest two were younger, I had a little CD, a music CD that had scripture put to music. And it wasn't cheesy, gooby music. It was fun. They loved it. It helped them memorize scripture, and we really enjoyed it. And I don't know where it is. I probably got rid of it long before my youngest came along because he was a total surprise. I mean, there's 7 years difference between my middle and my youngest. And so I'm sure I just got rid of it. So when I saw this, they had a way for me to listen to samples, and I thought that this was really, really good too. So I purchased one of these. There's 4 CDs, curricula for CDs 1 through 3. They had curricula to go with this as well, which I don't think I looked at actually. And each CD features 11 songs, 10 from scripture, and a compelling storyline that provide over an hour of valuable audio entertainment. A great way to learn God's word and principles. Okay, so the website is godstruckkids.com. And is there anything on the back? No. So if you're interested in something like that, please check those guys out. Oh, this video is getting long. Sorry, this is my little, this makes sure that I'm in frame, and I've got double sticky tape for this mat, but it doesn't stick to this mat all that well, so anyway, bear with me on that. Okay, this lady's booth was right across from ours at the last convention that I did for Schiller, and this highfalutin homeschooler, all I could do is be highfalutin. I mean, like, that's just fun to say, highfalutin. She is a blogger, highfalutinhomeschooler.com, and she developed a writing curriculum. It's kind of a journaling / writing book for reluctant writers. Humor, okay, but it's very boy themed, very. Yeah, it's meant to keep them entertained and to get them interested in writing about topics that they will find fun to write about, okay? There's nothing deep about these topics. It's, if you want to call it, what's the word everybody uses for fluff material? There's a word. It's kind of a Charlotte Mason thing. Twaddle? If you consider this twaddle, that's fine. You don't have to be interested in this, but if you have a reluctant writer, you're not offended by that kind of stuff, and you want something that can motivate your kids to write, and I keep saying boy, I shouldn't do that. It's not just a boy thing, but for boys and girls who dare. See? So suggested for 5th through 8th grade, so it's not for the younger sect, it's for a little bit older kids, but it's called Revolting Riding, a writing vocabulary and illustration journal for boys and girls who dare. Okay, so kid-rousing topics, themed vocabulary, humorous vocabulary exercises, fun facts, tips or quotes, playful writing prompts, illustration pages, hilarious cursive handwriting. So I didn't get to look at it that much. I may be emphasizing potty humor too much. I don't know. I mean, I really haven't looked at this in depth. I literally had like 2 minutes to talk to her. But I'm keeping this as a reference for when my son gets older, because all my boys have been reluctant writers. I don't know what this younger one is going to be like when he gets older, but if I need something like this, at least I know it's there, right? Okay. But she's a blogger, and she's got a lot of humor in her stuff, and so check out her blog just for fun. Okay. Mr. D Math. I've heard of this guy. Sorry, there's Play-Doh on here. We had a craft table at our booth, and there was some Play-Doh there, and some Play-Doh got smashed on here and dried up. So sorry about that. Mr. D Math, this is not new. I don't think he's one of the more well-known ones, but I've heard a lot of people talk about Mr. D Math. But the interesting thing about Mr. D Math is it starts at pre-algebra. So there's no lower math courses through Mr. D Math. But I've heard really good things about this in terms of on like message forums, homeschool forums, where kids, maybe had struggled with math, and the way this guy teaches math is supposed to be very engaging and really just effective. He does pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, and pre-calculus. It's all online, but there are worksheets that you print out, and I believe he's got it set up so that, hopefully I won't misquote this, where they can grade it for you, or you can grade it and submit the grades. And then they keep track of it all online, so you can get, the credits that you need. It seems like it's charter school friendly that way also. But also they have tutoring sessions. So kids who need help with a topic, they'll have these tutoring sessions. They log in, and once, they max out at maybe 5 students in a session. So they have, a lot of different tutors. When a session maxes out, they open up another one, then they open up another one. You see what I mean? So it's not like you have to worry about getting in or not being able to get in, but then they can just ask whatever questions they want, and they get tutored on whatever they want. It's not topic based, it's just a tutoring session, and it's part of the course. So if you are looking for a math option for your upper grades, and just check this guy out. This is the one that Larry Schiller, who developed the Schiller learning materials, this is the math that he recommends once you're done with the Schiller, because Schiller goes through pre-algebra. So anyway, I thought I'd give a shout out to him. This was, I just thought this was cool. I didn't get to spend much time here either. This is the same convention. I was slammed, so I think I was just walking back from, my lunch break, and just kind of stopped real quickly at this. It's an art subscription box service. So Moxie art lesson subscriptions is called Moxie Box, moxieboxart.com, and give monthly art lessons delivered to your home for students grades K through 8, high quality supplies and detailed lesson plan included. Our lessons introduce new artists, techniques, and mediums while integrating National Common Core visual art standards. So this is a charter school friendly course as well. So subscription plans, I thought this was interesting. They do it by the semester or by the year. And then if you get a 10-month subscription, you get a free box included with a 10-month subscription, and there's free shipping. So check these guys out. I don't know if they can break down their subscriptions into monthly payments. I just don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. So check these guys out if you need a art program and you're interested in something along those lines. This is a fiction trilogy that deals with apologetics. So what he's done is that he's written these stories and taking a specific topic of from the Christian worldview or the scientific worldview, and taking it to its logical conclusion. And it illustrates the logic behind the Christian worldview. And I was so impressed with what he said, and he showed me lots of testimonials from people, teenagers who had read these books and felt like that they were incredibly eye-opening to them. So I bought this series for my soon-to-be 11th grader to read. And so I don't have a review yet, but I can do that, once he's read them. Okay, so if you are interested in apologetics and you want a gentle way to sort of introduce your family, yourself, your student, whatever, into apologetics, this would probably be a good way to do it. He did another series here, which I don't know as much about, but the Tartarus Chronicles fiction, or you like the idea of introducing apologetics through fiction, definitely check this guy out. It's apologeticsfiction.com. And is there anything on the back here? It is one of only a handful of novel series that belong to a new and growing genre of fiction called apologetics fiction. This type of fiction blends edge-of-your-seat action with real-world arguments that support a Christian worldview. The reader comes face-to-face with scientific facts and logical reasoning that engage the mind on one page and heart-pounding action on the next. Below is a list of just some of the issues that are dealt with in the Tartarus Chronicles. Can a person have morality apart from a belief in God? How do we determine what is true? Is truth relative? What questions does each worldview religion attempt to answer? How is Christianity unique from the other religions of the world? How is the Bible different from other religious texts? How does each religion view Jesus? And what are the basic beliefs of the major world religions? And it lists Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, Buddhism, Judaism, New Age, Mormonism, and secularism. So, if that interests you, please check these guys out. It was really interesting talking to this guy. Okay, so the next one I think I want to talk about is Lamplighter. And again, I don't think these guys are new. They're kind of new to me. I'm still a little bit vague on what they do, but I believe what I figured out is that they take classic Christian literature and republish it in beautiful, and I'm not even exaggerating, like beautiful binding, beautiful covers, like leather, and they're not all leather, but they're just all, some of them are leather bound. They're just beautiful literature that would just make any library, just complement any library. And it's obviously literature that may be out of print or very difficult to get otherwise. Lamplighter.net is their website, or FAQLamplighterGuild.com. Interesting. So I'm not real sure which one has their store, but there's two websites referenced here. Well, this one is a web address, guild@lamplighter.net, or visit the FAQ page at lamplighterguild.com. So there's that. This was another math course. I don't know much about it, but it's called Video Text Interactive. And if you're looking for an upper level math course, this is one to consider. There's actually a review by Dr. J. Weil. He says that this course teaches real mathematics. It does not use tricks or shortcuts. Instead, it teaches the student to think mathematically, and that is what is missing from many algebra courses. So if you like the idea of a video text-based course, it looks like there's video lessons, course notes, a student work text, student manuals, progress text. It's called Video Text Interactive Online. It looks like it's algebra and geometry. And this is looks like the syllabus for that, or the scope and sequence for the course. And then money back guarantee, which is way too much to read. But anyway, if you are interested in this, just go to the website. It's videotexthomeschool.com. So you can verify current pricing. This is where it's at. And, for an individual module of $109.95 for a full high school math, that's not bad. It's just saying, might be worth checking into. Okay, so I have two more things quickly, because I know this video has been ridiculously long. So, all right, this catalog I got at a charter school conference. So everything there was charter school friendly, secular and or faith neutral. But what I found interesting about this was that the booth was so bright and colorful and fun, and I went in and took a look, and although from what I could tell, it was mostly for classroom use, there was a lot of stuff in there that could be used for homeschoolers too. And this philosophy, Kagan is an individual who developed this teaching method, and it's based on collaborative learning. So this would be potentially difficult to do in a home school setting, although if you have multiple students, or just being you one-on-one with another student would then make some of this stuff really doable. It's done in Singapore a lot, and so what I found interesting when I was talking to the lady in the booth was that their methodology was very similar to Singapore in the way they teach in Singapore. So I asked her about that, and she said, oh yes, I've been to Singapore numerous times. She said, in fact, their teachers are required to take our course. So I thought that was fascinating, and I don't know if you know this about Singapore, but they're ranked one of the highest, if not the highest, in the world for how their students test on these world it's not a placement test. These world I can't remember what it's called, but there's a standardized test that is done internationally, and they rank one of the highest, if not the highest, in the nation. Right. And they also do a lot of collaborative learning. So the collaborative learning is what they focus on here. There's a lot of workbooks. They're reproducible materials, and a lot of games. So teamwork, you'll see lots of things in here about teamwork. There were some things I actually purchased while I was there. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, so I bought a couple of learning cubes, and I bought some of the learning chips. So like the learning cubes are all open-ended questions. So you roll the die and you get a question. So in this, it's a reader response cube. So I use this when my kids have read for the day, and I can do this with both my teenager and my youngest one at the same time, because they're reading different books, but I can literally roll this and they can answer the question because it's so open-ended. So one question I have is, and then they have to finish that. It made me feel, obviously they finished that. I'd like to hear more about what I liked best. One question I have is, it reminded me of, so these open-ended questions really do get critical thinking skills going, and they really also give you a good picture of whether or not they've read the material. Because I have one who may or may not have in the past told me they've read the material and actually haven't, but they shall remain unnamed. I got this one for journal starters. This would be good discussion starters as well. And if you're wanting to incorporate journaling into your homeschool, this is a fun one. I believe, I learned, I plan to, today, I feel, yesterday. So these are also good conversation starters. If you'd rather do a discussion-based, open-ended question answer, session, you can do that with these as well. But if you want to incorporate journaling and have them practice writing, these are great little journal starters. And then I got some of these learning chips. This little case was separate. I think it was $1. Yeah, storage container. The storage container was $1, and the chips were like $5. Okay, so the learning cubes were $3 each, and these learning chips are $5 for the whole set. So I got this whole set of really nice, thick learning chips, and they're all open-ended questions that you can apply to any subject. Questions I have are, I already knew, the basic idea is, how could you organize this? I could apply this information. The most important part is, I didn't understand. I can remember this by what I found interesting. I learned that. What picture could summarize this? I was surprised to learn. This is similar or different. What gesture could represent this? This makes me feel. And in summary, so if you have a co-op, if you have multiple students, If you're just doing one-on-one coaching with your student, these are fantastic. The critical thinking is something that kids need to develop, and we're so standardized, test oriented, not in a homeschool typically, but in the traditional school system, that kids are very black and white thinkers. Everything's got a right or wrong answer. There's very few open-ended questions that make them think about potential answers. Maybe there's more than one answer. Maybe there's a different way to think about something. And I've noticed that, my older kids were in school until 5th and 8th grade, and trying to get them to critically think has been the hugest challenge ever. And I'm struggling with my youngest because he's just not an abstract thinker. And most little kids aren't. They develop that skill over time. But it's very difficult just saying, why do you like this? And having an appropriate answer. Like, he just goes blank, like, I don't know, I just like it. So anyway, these are ways that you can incorporate that into your homeschool. But I would highly recommend you just go take a look at this website. It is Kagan, what is it? KaganOnline.com, KAGAN online.com, and just explore their stuff. Most of their workbooks, that's why they're like pages that you can cut out and laminate and reuse over and over again. I wish I could show you. I didn't get a workbook while I was there. I was very tempted. But you can view sample materials. There's multiple intelligence structures and activities. Be great, again, if you have multi-age students who have different, levels of intelligence that you can tell. I don't know. I can't go into more than that because this has been a while. I did this convention a while back, and I'm a little foggy on it, but I would definitely check that out. I have a school teacher friend who just flipped out, loved that. That was her style of teaching when she taught. She's a homeschooler now, but she loved collaborative thinking and open-ended questions and all of that. She just was like gaga over that stuff. So this is Tamra Doodle. Tamra Doodle was not at convention. They don't do conventions, traditional ones anyway. I think they might do some online ones, but I just wanted to give them a shout out because the catalog was in the other materials. And as another YouTuber who is way more articulate than I am, beautifully stated, Tamra Doodle has an amazing, a beautifully curated set of materials available on their website. Tanya of a Project Happy Home, and I highly recommend her channel. I would definitely go check her out. Was talking about Tamra Doodle, and she's reviewed some of the stuff from them. They don't make their own curriculum. They put curriculum kits together from third-party vendors, but they're very selective about their items. So it's a really great place to go when you want really tried and true materials. You don't want to have to scour through loads and loads and loads of reviews and pages and pages and pages of rainbow resource. If you want a good resource for every subject, including logic games, logic and thinking skills items, they carry all kinds of stuff. I've been thoroughly impressed with everything that we've gotten from them. I used to get their kits, and we've since sort of fine-tuned our curriculum choices, and not everything comes from Tamra Doodle, but I still really love their stuff, especially at the high school level, in terms of just their curriculum core stuff. Anyway, they carry both faith-based and faith-neutral materials, so I definitely highly recommend you just check these guys out. And they carry multiple vendors for each subject, so you're not going to be pigeonholed into one particular vendor if you go take a look at their stuff. So all right, that is it, and this was long, and I apologize, but if you have stuck with me to the end, thank you so much. I hope you found this interesting and fun to find out about vendors that are a little more under the radar or new or small. And, you know, like I said, I can't review them. I haven't tried them. We haven't purchased any of these things other than, you know, the few things I showed you. But I did think that they had great booze. Their salespeople were wonderful, and I thought their materials were worth checking out. So anyway, thank you so much for coming by. I hope that you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell if you like this kind of material. I've got lots of reviews coming up, including our end of year recap, our what we're going to be using for next year, and then individual component reviews from what we've used last year. So thank you so much again for stopping by, and have a great evening.